Wide right. The two most evil words to any member of the Bills Mafia. Wide right. If that never happens again in a playoff game, it could be none too soon for Bills fans. It did all those many years ago with Scott Norwood at Super Bowl 25, and it manifested itself again tonight in the divisional round in Buffalo against the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, God. Whew. Yeah, that sucks. That's really, really bad. And to any Bills fans, it's going to be a whiny bitch baby and want to talk to me about Bears football and a double doink, and it's like, whatever. Yeah, whatever makes you feel better about fucking up yet another chance to go to the Super Bowl yet again. And I realize that when you get to a moment like this where your emotions run high, you're really, really invested, and then it's like your whole world comes crashing down, that you say and do all types of rash, irrational type of things, right? And it is very careful. You have to be very careful when you're talking about decision making to not make key, important, significant decisions from a place of potential emotional irrationality. But the bottom line is, the Bills have got to fire Sean McDermott. Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. And I know what some of the McDermott defenders are going to throw out there. He's 73-41 in 7 seasons as the Bills head coach in the regular season. That's a .640 winning percentage. The guy's won 64% of his games as an NFL head coach. You don't fire that. He's led the Bills to the playoffs in 6 times in 7 seasons. You just don't move on from that. This guy is a good coach. And here's the reality. Sometimes good just isn't good enough. Those numbers there, like if this was a Bears head coach we were talking about, and Bears football, the dude would probably have a lifetime freaking contract. Because that's how much the Bears organization admires, adores, and loves and stays obsessed with mediocrity. But the Bills are supposed to be better. Truly deep down in the cockles of their soul. They're not supposed to want to be mediocre. And they certainly have put themselves in a position where it is not okay to be mediocre. And being mediocre is a waste of time. And perhaps you're going to say, mediocre is harsh. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But sometimes good is just not good enough. And how many more opportunities does a Sean McDermott need to have? How many more times do you put him in the same spot for the outcome to be the fucking same? Oh, you deal with injuries. Bullshit. All teams at this stage of the season have to deal with some type of drama, some type of injuries, some type of BS. Other teams find a way to get it done. And then there's fucking Sean McDermott, who consistently does it. After this loss to the Chiefs on Sunday night in the divisional round, he has a 5-6 career record in the playoffs. They've only made one appearance in the AFC Championship game, and that was back in 2020. The Bills the past couple of seasons, you could argue, have went all in, and they've actually plateaued and slightly regressed. They have 0 appearances in the Super Bowl with an elite quarterback like Josh Allen. 3 of the last 4 seasons, the Chiefs have knocked them out of the playoffs. In the AFC Championship game in 2020 and 2 other times, 2021, 2023, in the divisional round. In fact, they've lost in the divisional round the last 3 years. Look at last year losing to the Bengals in that bad fashion in the divisional round where Josh Allen sucked and the defense, predictably under Sean McDermott in the playoffs, fucking sucked. Like, they faced the Chiefs again, and their defense face planted again. Like damn near every time they needed this defense to make a big stop, they failed to do so. And no, it's never just on one person why a team wins or loses a game. I 100% agree with that. And it is fair to say, in a bubble with one game, that oftentimes coaches and quarterbacks get way too much credit for wins and way too much credit for and blame for losses. I would agree with that. However, this is not a one-time aberration. This is a pattern of predictably pathetic performances by this Bills defense in the biggest stage when it matters most. How can you continue to sit there and justify him being the head guy? They're not figuring it out. They're not growing. They're not learning. They're not improving. They're staying put. And you can sit there and be patient all you want, but nothing is promised. No 1 year to the next is guaranteed to be the same at all. And you already look, Josh Allen will be 28 next year. What are you going to do? Keep Sean McDermott around 5 more years? And my God, he finally got back to the AFC Championship game. But 2029, son of a bitch, that'll be Bills Mafia's year. In a head coaching market where you have what looks like a great pool of candidates, not to mention some big name coaches like a Bill Belichick, like a Jim Harbaugh, tier or two down from that, a Mike Vrabel. You have other kind of wonder kid type of offensive coordinators like Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick. If you insist on going back to the defensive side of the ball, you've got Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator in Baltimore. Maybe a Raheem Morris. I don't know about that one, but still, I want to throw that name out there. At what point in time does Bills brass have to look and say, why can't we get this job done? Why can't we get over this hump? And start to realize that Sean McDermott at the end of the day is the problem. Like his defense is consistently face-planting in the playoffs. And these are units that during the regular season are pretty good statistically. Am I wrong? I don't think so. Like this feels like one of these Tony Dungy scenarios. When Tony Dungy was down at Tampa, whether you feel like he got raw dogged or not, the reality was the Bucs felt like they had peaked, they had plateaued with where they could ascend with Tony Dungy at the helm, and they went and made the trade for John Gruden. That first year he was there, they won the Super Bowl. It was absolutely worth it. It was absolutely the right decision. Now, it worked out well for Indianapolis, too, in the long run when they brought in Tony Dungy. But even then, you could say it took a few years. And he had to have an all-time great quarterback in Peyton Manning to help him win his Super Bowl. Well, Sean McDermott's got an elite quarterback. He's got one of the very best quarterbacks in the game. Like every time they step on the field, the Bills can feel like they can throw down because they've got that dude. Up to and including when you face Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs. You've got the type of guy that can put you in a spot to win this game. And again, you want to blame a Tyler Bass or whatever the fuck for missing a field goal. The reality is, even if he hits the field goal, you've played this game before. You've been down this path before. The Bills defense would just let Mahomes and the Kansas City offense march right down the fucking field, get into a field goal range for like a 30-yard chip shot, and they'd still lose any damn ways. Like, this had to be the time. This had to be the year. That window won't stay open forever. And the more that the Bills keep wanting to run it back with Sean McDermott, the quicker that window's going to slam shut. Now, you're going to say they don't fire him, and then next year they go to the Super Bowl and win it. You're going to look like a jackass. Hey, that certainly could happen. Stranger shit has happened. But you have an overwhelming amount of evidence right now that points to the fact there's no way in fucking hell that would happen. Because what would be more likely to happen in 2024 is somehow, some way, the Bills would finally find a way to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, and then they fucking gag it down their legs in the AFC Championship game against somebody else. Nah. Bills Mafia has to demand better. You're wasting time. This is supposed to be your time to contend for and win championships. Sean McDermott has to go, and he has to go now.